Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to The Lock Shop right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you are listening online at edmontonsportstalk.com, please know that you can simply just download the free iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app, and you can find us streaming over there. And, of course, you can always hit us up in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. And everything we do here at Edmonton Sports Talk, obviously available as a podcast after the fact. You can text us 780-218-9999. Lots of good blue cheese text messages rolling in there still from the leftovers of the hangout a little bit earlier on today. Blue cheese on a ribeye steak, pure greatness. That's from Luke in Cowtown. I don't know if we'll dive into this with Hust when he pops by, but not a bad. Somebody said you can get like a block of blue cheese. I didn't even know that. I thought blue cheese only came as like dippable. I didn't know you could get it as a block. Yeah. Don't have a lot of background in blue cheese, so was not aware of that one. Like I said, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Hey, shout out, I was not here yesterday. Have a bit of a, actually, as I say it, I feel like I have to cough again, but a bit of a cough, and I was putting some antibiotics yesterday, and I was just dead. So I snuck away. Hust and Jake took you the rest of the way. We got a whole stream coming up today. There he is. There's Hus. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
It's funny you say that because I've been on the verge of making that same call for the last week.
Oh, man.
And the thing is, for me, it's not as bad now doing Lock Shop. But
it's worse in the afternoon?
If you've heard, well, yeah, you know how it is. I mean, if you're talking for 3 hours, by the end, there's definitely a law of diminishing returns right now with the old voice box. So I've struggled particularly towards the end of our show doing the Coolbet lines where I'm just reading.
Yeah.
You know how I normally do the show. You know, normally I'll do the live reads. And so I'm basically going throughout it.
Yeah, you're not rolling any commercials like us here, right? You're just kind of hammering your live reads. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I've had to record the reads beforehand.
Okay.
And it just gives me like a 2-minute break sometimes in between segments because it can get completely off the rails. That being said, I'm hoping that this weekend will allow me to get in there. What's your mute button situation there?
I don't got a mute button situation. I just pushed this away. Yeah. Yeah. How much of the cough do you hear when I push it away like that?
It's not bad. It's not bad. You can just see it. It's, I just say this not as much for the show, but just interested to know.
No, the mute buttons are mute button. Yeah, our mute button's over on the desk over there, so it makes it a little bit difficult. I guess I could run my mic.
You don't have one on the mic there? You don't have one on your mic?
No, because we're plugged in XLR. If it was USB, there would be I could mute it, but yeah, on XLR you can't.
Yeah, this one just.
If it's a USB, you can just go boom right there. But I'll just keep holding it in. We'll see how that goes. Cash said in the Nasty Chat, he goes, Hus, why don't you just go to Boston Pizza again? All right, go get yourself the Brute. Get back on track, right?
You know what? That was maybe I got a little cocky on Sunday night. I went and had a few beers. I just figured, okay, I'm back. I've suffered enough. I'm going to go have a few beers. I'm going to get a Brute. I'm going to get some wings. And, I have gone to the 2 games this weekend, or this week, Monday and Wednesday. But I don't know. I mean, like, are these sicknesses getting worse? Are we just getting old and the immune system's depleting? Like, I don't want to start any takes or discourse in the chat about anything to do with COVID or vaccines or anything like that. But I don't know. This flu or whatever it is seems to be hanging around much longer than. Like, I rarely get sick, but when I do, it's usually a couple days and done. And even in the past number of years. And this has now manifested itself. Like, I have more energy. I'm not just like the last weekend, I was literally in bed for the better part of 50 hours. Like, I was not even up for, like, I'd get up for 2 hours, then like, oh, I got to lie down again. And I was there. Now I'm just kind of dealing with it. And, you know, for guys that talk nonstop, if I just had a desk job and I wasn't talking all the time, it would be a nuisance, but it wouldn't be the same pain in the ass.
That's why I said to my doctor 2 days ago, I was like, listen, dude, I said, I talk for a living. And he legit goes to me, he goes, oh, so you want to get rid of it? And I was like, No, I want to keep it. Like, what a horrible question. Of course I want to get rid of it, man. Are you nuts? So we'll see. I got these antibiotics. It's like, must be heavy dose because they only have them for 3 days. So hopefully by Monday it's kind of kicked a bit. So
Interesting.
ass.
Yeah,
But
my
what
biggest thing is like getting to the doctor. Like,
yeah.
it's not easy just to pull out in the middle of the day and roll out there.
Yeah.
And who wants to wait for?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, this is another conversation. It's not like it's very convenient just to pop in and get all that done. So
What did I miss yesterday? What did I miss?
The lock shop continues to power through despite everything being thrown at us. And let me tell you, the nasty chat continues
red hot.
2 absolute nail bangers. Now, our parlay yesterday, the partner parlay, was not good. Panthers finally lost. Tampa came back and won. So we didn't get the dub. But as a loyal, I mean, I know a lot of the nasties follow us on the partner parlays, which we did get a nice one earlier this week. But after the plus 850 banger that the guys filled out on Tuesday, there was zero chance I wasn't riding yesterday. And it went as follows. Rat Hartman of the Minnesota Wild, Ryan Hartman, to get a point. He got one relatively early. The other one that came in quite early, let me just get David Pasternak, Pasta with the 4 shots. He was in. And then going into the third period, it was the Leafs who were up 3-1, and we needed an Austin Matthews goal. And I quickly flipped over. Like, I wasn't watching the game, but I was just following the scores. And all of a sudden it was 6-1. I'm like, I think there's a pretty good chance our guy Austin may have got one.
Might have had one.
He did. And he did. So I think it was plus 390. Another one for the fellas in the chat. So thank you to them for helping us out big time. And we've got a little bit of momentum coming into the weekend.
That is nice. Big one tomorrow for Edmonton and Colorado. I'll throw up an EST parlay probably tomorrow morning. I'll get that to Jake and the crew tonight. Shout out to Jake for sliding in for the entire episode tomorrow. Just 2 games in the National Hockey League tonight. But we can dive into the NHL recap. The Jets are one of the games tonight, so we'll certainly spend some time setting that up as well. We got some movement around the NFL. Hockey Canada made Doug Armstrong the general manager. Looks like Getzlaf's going to be a player advisor for player relations on that Canadian Olympic team. I dished out my Canadian Olympic team on the show this morning. So
are we talking Olympics? This is Olympics or the 4 Nations?
I think he's running both. I think they're giving him both.
Really?
I think that's what it was. Where's the press release? I just had the press release in my email. Let me double check on that. Let's see.
I saw LeBron quoting out that Chevy was down to one of the final GMs for that gig.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Hockey Canada has announced that Doug Armstrong will serve as general manager of Canada men's Olympic team at the 2026 Olympics, and as management group lead for Canada's nationals men's team, overseeing the appointment of managing groups that will lead Team Canada at various events over the next 2 seasons. Ryan Getzlaf brought on as a players relation advisor. So that's the latest on that front. So I laid out my Team Canada earlier today on our show, and Mark Scheifele, is he on that team? Is he a 4th liner on that team? Is he just off the team? Like, what's the view?
I think
Morrissey's on it for sure. I wasn't sure what to do with Scheifele, to be honest with you. I was like, if you
had this conversation with me, if you had this conversation with me a year ago at this time,
you would have said no.
I would have said I thought Scheifele had probably played himself off.
Yeah.
Now I think he's definitely on. I mean, he's probably he's probably in that 10 to 13
Okay,
spot.
I had him as like one of the extra forwards, but could play on the 4th line. I think that 4th line and extra forwards are kind of interchangeable, Mike. Like those that group of guys, right? So
he's been awesome this year. And we saw, I mean, he got hit with this flu and didn't play against Nashville 2 nights ago. And
they obviously missed him.
The entire team just, every now and then you'll get a game where just the execution is just garbage. that was the Jets on Wednesday. I mean, it looked nothing like the team that completely dominated Washington earlier on, and they do have the Ducks tonight. But I've got nothing. I mean, hey, you know me. I was the guy that thought that Scheif was done here, that he was going to get traded, that he had, and his mannerisms, his body language was really, really bad. Signing that extension at the end of the summer, and maybe it was a bit of a humbling summer, like that there wasn't a lot of interest, whatever it is. He has he's really, really raised his game. I mean, he is the number one center for the Winnipeg Jets. He's the offensive catalyst right now. And he prides himself on going up against the best. So I think that sort of an event will bring the best out in him as well. So I'd certainly expect him to be on the team. Well, at least for the next year's thing. I mean, you never know when guys get on the other side of 30 at what point they're going to drop off. But I'll say this about him. He keeps himself in the best shape. He is so committed to his craft that I think his contract will age better than a lot of other ones for guys in that age category. And I know he'll be incredibly motivated to be on that team. So that I think should be a good thing for the Jets too over these next couple of years. And then, you mentioned Morrissey. I mean,
Morrissey. What did I have here? I got
absolutely
a list here.
Brilliant.
So tell me what you think of this blue line. Like if they just, and like we said, we're still 2 years out. So you don't know what happens with some of these guys. But I think that Taves and McCarr, keep them together, teammates. Theodore and Pietrangelo, and then Morrissey and Dobson. Right? You think? Yeah. I was thinking like Morrissey. What's that?
Who were the other defensemen that were on the team?
Theodore and Pietrangelo, and then Taves and McCarr.
Well, I mean, like, was there a 7th or 8th?
I had 2 years from now. I had Owen Power as he continues to sort of develop in Buffalo, and then I said maybe a little bit of a homer pick, but Evan Bouchard is going to be straight 70-point seasons between now and then. So I could see him being as an option if like McCarr was to get hurt or something. You needed a power play guy with McDavid on the power play. I mean, maybe.
The thing is, the players are so good. Like, you're going to need to have guys that can defend. You think about who they're going up against. Like, no offense to Bouchard, and you guys would know.
Well, I wouldn't expect him to play. Like, I'd have him as an extra because Taves, McCarr, Theodore, Pietrangelo, Morrissey, and Dobson. I mean, those guys can defend, right? Like that's
the thing. And like, I don't think you're worried at all about offense. I mean, if anything, you're looking at guys that can come in and maybe play a different role. And the thing with Bouchard is that while he certainly gets the points, like if you put him, and I mean, listen, that team is going to be loaded with the McDavids and the McKinnons, and you'll have all those guys. But like, would you trust Bouchard to be out there in the last 2 minutes of a game if you don't
in the Olympics? No, not at all. No.
Even right now.
Well, right now, I mean, if he's with Matthias Ekholm, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, what about the goalies? Who are your goalies?
Well, I had Binnington, Skinner, and Hill, kind of like everybody else. I don't know. Binnington's going to be 32. I don't know how much you've watched Binnington this year, but I've probably watched Binnington, I don't know, like 7-8 times, and he's been awesome every single time I watched him. I'm like, man, this guy's been phenomenal. So
he came up huge for us in that Kings LA game earlier this week. Like, I'll actually, maybe just because that was the one time where we were on them as a home dog.
He had 40 saves, didn't he? 40 saves.
He was unbelievable. Yeah. And by the way, did you see the unis? The old Gretzky
that was great. Both
jersey?
of them. It was perfect. That was really nice.
That was pretty funny. But I think Aiden Hill's the guy that gets the start, like as of right now. And again, obviously everything can change. I'm hoping was it Weeks or one of the other goalies for that were on the TSN panel put their thing together, and they didn't have Binnington on the team, and they had Montembeault from Montreal.
Was that Marty Biron? I'm trying to think of other goalies that they have. Jamie McLennan?
It was either Noodles or Biron, one of the guys. Anyway, don't whoever it was.
Yeah.
They had that. And listen, I don't know if Binnington's mental makeup is suited for this sort of thing. Now, again, he won the cup, but he came out of nowhere, went on this incredible run. Since then, he's been so hot and cold.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of stupid things too, like that make no sense at all, that often hurt his team. But I'll tell you what, based on what he's been playing like as of late, I think he's certainly in the conversation, is probably on the team. But I think Aiden Hill, with the cup win last year, the way he's played level so far this year, is in a pretty good spot. Hey, just speaking of Aiden Hill for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys touched on this morning, but I know everyone was saying, oh, look out for the Vegas Golden Knights with all these big trades that they made and everything.
Oh, we looked at the standings this morning. Yes, we did.
Dude, Minnesota has 2 more head-to-head games against Vegas, and they are 4 points back of the Golden Knights.
I know.
Knights giving up 4 in the third period last night to Calgary.
Yeah, they're in I asked Mike Johnson this morning, he was on our show. I said that we all kind of just sort of assume that Vegas is going to kind of be in there, but it almost feels right now that Vegas is also just assuming that Vegas is going to be in there. You know what I mean? Like, that looks like a team that hasn't necessarily found the sense of urgency for the situation that they're in, man.
No, you're exactly right. Now, keep in mind, they are tied with the LA Kings at 77 points. Like, it is my assumption has been that they're going to be top 3, and they are going to be probably playing Edmonton in the first round. I mean, that's the way I've been assuming it. And listen, the Jets are up against it right now, although, again, they're 2 points back. They've got games in hand. Dallas stunk it up last night at home against the Dallas Stars. But I guess we have to say, don't count the Minnesota Wild just yet. They won 3 in a row. They're 6-3. They have played one more game than Vegas. But Nashville's in, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the way they're playing right now, we saw what they did to the Jets the other day. They're 13 in a row without a regulation loss, I believe. They've got 80 points. If anything, they might, try and sneak up and at least make it interesting for a spot with third place in the Central, depending on if the Jets, Dallas, or Colorado goes into any limited slump.
If the playoffs began today, Huss, these would be your matchups right here. And I think I don't know where you come out on this one for the Jets, because Dallas has been super inconsistent. But in the West here, which involves, quickly in the East, Florida and the Islanders, Boston and the Leafs, Rangers, Lightning, Canes, Flyers. In the West, Colorado and Nashville, Dallas and Winnipeg, Vancouver and Vegas, and then the Oilers and the Kings.
Yeah.
I'm going to be ranking all 8 of these teams on Oil Stream coming up here just after noon today. And, we talked about it on our show this morning. The Vancouver Canucks, I think it was Canucks Army or someone that tweeted it out. But against top 10 teams this year, the Canucks are 15-5-3. They have a better winning percentage against the top 10 teams in the league than they do over the rest of the league, which I've been kind of just sort of throwing the Canucks by the wayside a little bit when I talk about like who comes out of the West, and I have to stop doing that. I think Vancouver's going to end up being a problem for somebody here.
Well, they absolutely are going to be. And yeah, like the glass slipper didn't fall off. The clock didn't strike midnight on Vancouver, and they're going to probably win the West, which is absolutely incredible. A Jets-Dallas series is probably the least optimal scenario for Winnipeg.
You think so, hey?
Well, I mean, just the fact they're 0-3 against Dallas. I think they're 16-5 in the division, but 0-3 against Dallas. I'll say this though, Jake Ottinger. Remus sent me this today. Let me pull this.
Ottinger has been struggling, buddy.
This really, really surprised me. Jake Ottinger. Okay, Dallas only has 10 home regulation wins this season. 10.
Really?
13 out of their 32 games have gone to OT. If you had bet, this is from Andy McNeil, shout out to the Digital Gambler. If you'd bet 1 unit on the Stars to win every home game in regulation, you'd be down over 12 units. Only Toronto has been a worse regulation bet than Dallas, which is wild when you're talking about playoff teams. But the other one, just speaking about Ottinger, only Vitek Vanacek has a worse high danger save percentage at 5-on-5 amongst goalies with 1,000 minutes or more.
Really?
I'll be honest, that hasn't been the case when the Jets have played Dallas.
He's been good.
Very good. And actually, they did lose once to who's their backup again?
Wedgwood.
Scotty Wedgwood, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But Dallas has had the Jets number so far this year. They've got one more game later on. Jets have been really good. They've been good against Colorado, very good against Colorado, and that's certainly a possibility. And then if they're able to win, again, they do have the games in hand. They got a pretty tough schedule, though. Like it's honestly, if you put in and got the bookies to rank who's going to win the Central right now, I bet you're looking at numbers that are all close to even for Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado. Just because Jets have a couple that's 2 or 3 games in hand on both teams. They're down a couple points. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. But I mean, that's secondary to what we're watching right now with can somebody catch Vegas? And then the other thing that we've got to talk about. Oh, and that was the other team. We gave them the last chance. Official lock shop suspension for the Detroit Red Wings.
Really? Okay. Well, I missed that yesterday.
Well, I mean, we said they lost 6 in a row. They were at home to Arizona. They'd fallen out of a playoff spot. That game last night was the game that they absolutely had to have. And they lost at home to the Coyotes. They've lost 7 in a row right now. And get this.
In fighting in practice, too.
I always love these angles. One of the guys from the McAfee show, I think, popped this up. But they are 0-7 since they put that sponsor's logo on that beautiful Detroit Red Wings jersey.
No way.
So he's claiming that they are cursed now since they put the sponsor jersey on the Red Wings logo. Bottom line is 0 trust in Detroit right now. They are spiraling out of control. They will not be on any of my cards for the foreseeable future until they show that they have turned it around.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. For those of you, I see Jimmy Onishi in the Nasty's just saying, what's the keyword? Keyword's coming up around 11:30. Stick around, Jimmy, and stop complaining. Keyword for Vegas coming up here around 11:30 today. We're going to get to some NFL moves. We'll obviously take a look at the leaderboard at the Players' Championship, but we're in the NHL right now. There's only 2 games tonight, so we might as well just quickly hit on these. It's the Jets and the Ducks tonight. Jets are a huge money line home favorite, minus 392. This morning, our cool bet hotline of the day on the Nielson show, I had the Jets on the puck line. It was minus 133 at the time. It's now minus 147. And then the Kings and the Hawks tonight, the Kings on the road in Chicago, minus 268 favorites. So 2 pretty heavy favorites against 2 of the duds in the National Hockey League tonight, Huss. I'm assuming you'll have a WST parlay on Winnipeg Sports Talk a little bit later on, but what's your thought on just the 2 games tonight on the slate?
Well, they gotta get this win tonight. And I don't know if you just heard, but Gabriel Velarde has been out for the last little bit. And
the enlarged spleen.
And that's unrelated to what he was dealing with. But I guess they had a checkup and went in. Yeah, he's got this enlarged spleen. I've been reading all this information from the Mayo Clinic over the last 20 minutes leading into this thing about what that means.
Tell me about spleens, Huss. Tell me about spleens. What'd you learn?
Well, I learned that an enlarged spleen can come from viral infections, bacterial infections, or something even worse like blood cancers or pressures on the brain or a blood clot. Anyways, it's serious, and it's not something that just goes away right away. And the spleen's important for filtering out and destroying old damaged blood cells, for storing red blood cells and platelets, which help your blood clot. An enlarged spleen affects all of that, and it may not function as usual. It could also, if you've had something like mono, it can affect it. So listen, the complications can lead to serious infections or a ruptured spleen, which can be very dangerous. So he's out indefinitely right now. I mean, at this point, I think all we can hope is that he's able to play in the playoffs, but that changes things big time. And thank God the Jets got Tyler Toffoli, or they would be screwed at right wing. Although maybe we get Rucker McGrory to the rescue sooner as opposed to later, and there's a spot for him right away to go in and maybe show what he can do. It will be very interesting to see, but that was the big news today. As far as tonight, I did put together a WST parlay, and the Jets are such a big favorite that we just went with some player props. We're going to go with Toffoli to score his first as a Jet, Ehlers to get a point, and then that Lowry line has been so good. They've been scoring lately. Lowry and Niederreiter to both get a point as well. So Ehlers, Lowry, Niederreiter points, a Toffoli goal, plus 13.25.
I was going to say, that's going to be a huge number.
Well, especially in a game, like this, that is, put it this way, I was a little surprised that it was as high as it was just because the individual numbers aren't that big. But anyways, we just got it in. I could see that going down. So if you do like it, Jet fans, if you want to get that on, I have a feeling that number might come down a little bit as people jump on it just because of the risk to our friends over at Coolbet. I guess you can go Jet puck line on this one. I was thinking about betting the team total for the Ducks under. And potentially under 1.5.
Under 1.5 plus 132.
Yeah, like 2.5 is minus 245. When I see unders actually now down to plus 124. Brossoit has been amazing. And if you've seen when the Jets have had bad games recently, they've come right back with really strong defensive performance. In fact, they've had shutouts in their last 2 games coming off a loss. And the Ducks seem to be the answer for that. But for the WST parlay, we're going to focus in on that. Other game is LA and Chicago. Yeah. That's Bedard's hot right now, though.
Yeah, he's been rolling. Soderblom's confirmed to start for Chicago. Talbot's likely for the Kings.
I might throw a little sprinkle on a Bedard goal at 2-1.
Is that 2-1?
Yeah, plus 200.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea considering the way he's been playing. Would you say we were asked this like a couple days ago on our show? Would you say Bedard has been as advertised? Like I don't think he's been better than I expected, but I think he's been as good as I expected him to be. Like a point per game guy as a rookie. That's not easy.
On one of the shittiest teams put together in
true.
Recent NHL history. Like he's playing.
Yeah, if he was playing with people, he could be like a 90, 95 point guy, right?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. He's 18 as well. And he missed all that time with the broken jaw. Listen, I think he's a phenom. I think he's in just a really, really tough situation where it's basically all on him every night to do something. Expectations are really low. And I know that at the beginning of the season, they signed some guys like Perry and Foligno. They thought that they'd, give him a little bit of help. But Chicago going into the offseason has to use some of that cap space, whether it's deals, whether it's picks, and get some guys around him because I can't think of a worse way to take a generational talent and have him spend his ELC getting their asses kicked every single night with no real hope to do anything or be even in the mix for a playoff spot. I mean, they haven't played a meaningful game since the end of November.
Yeah, that does suck. All right, let's get the key word out here. By the way, somebody, I don't know if it was in a text or in the nasty chat. Yeah, Rod Z says Kings team total over tonight against Chicago. Over 3.5, so minus 120. I was just messing around. If you put the Kings over 2.5 and the Ducks under 2.5, that'll get you to minus 105 tonight. If you're just looking for something a little bit simpler, move those totals around a little bit. The key word right now, we're teaming up here. We're going to have another chance to qualify on the oil stream coming up just after noon today, but we're doing it on all of our shows here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And just be listening 4 times per day on weekdays for the keyword right here on Edmonton Sports Talk for your chance to win a trip to Vegas, 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to a Cirque show presented by FlyYAG and the LVCVA. When we give this away, grand prize winner at the end of April will have 2 months to book, but you can schedule the trip for any time over the upcoming calendar year. They got nonstop flights to 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from FlyYAG. Today's keyword, all you have to do is text this in right now to 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Today's keyword here on the Lock Shop is ACES. ACES, ACES. Aces. Text the word Aces right now to 780-218-9999. And in about 5 minutes, Zacticum, well, not 5 minutes, about 20 minutes, Zacticum will grab somebody and we will call our qualifier for today. One more time, the keyword for this trip to Vegas on the Lock Shop today is Aces. Text that in to 780-218-9999.
So all the words are something to do with Vegas?
Yeah, like they're close. Let me just take a look back. I've kind of been crossing them off. On the Hangout today, it was Hill. On our show, it was UFC. Yesterday, it was Eichel, Dice, Vacation, and Sphere, Pool, Poker, Knights, Raiders, like that type of thing. And Maddie's come up with 140 of them.
If you need a few more for next week, how about Arrested? How about Drunk Tank? How about Marry a Stranger?
Today's keyword is marry a stranger. I like that one. Text Aces to 780-218-9999.
Aces today, everybody. You know who else? Rod's in here. Oh, and Rod's on an Alex Killorn anytime goal at plus 350 tonight. Interesting. What about Quinton Byfield tonight at 2-1?
Funny you bring up Quinton Byfield because on my Olympic team that I announced earlier today, he's starting alongside Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman on the first line.
Wow.
Well, think about how good he's been this year. It's 2 years away.
Yep.
They have a bunch of centers that are going to be available to them and a bunch of centers who write shots. I had him on there, and then I had Crosby still rolling around with McKinnon. But I think Byfield's trending.
Crosby and McKinnon have to
they have to be together. And I have them together on the second line. But Byfield is trending towards being like one of those guys on the Olympic team, I think.
He's the guy, like we are having all these conversations back and again. Thank you again, PLD, for everything you did for us at Winnipeg Sports Talk. We even did that. Remember, we made that Dubois drama logo, which was
that's going back a bit, but yeah, I remember that.
And then we had Dubois drama season 2, where we updated it as well. But no one did more to gain subs to the WST channel than Pierre-Luc Dubois and all that. But when we were talking about it, like Byfield hadn't really popped yet. And I had always said, like, if they could possibly get the Kings to move off of Byfield as part of that trade, that would be great. They didn't want to do that. The trade still ended up being awesome for Winnipeg with everything that came over. But it's been wild because, I don't know how many times I talked about Byfield on the show. And then to watch what he's turned into this year. It's just a perfect example of why people, like these kids, get drafted so early. You cannot... And people in Winnipeg right now, some of them are out on Perfetti. Perfetti had that great first half.
Way too early to be out on Perfetti, buddy. Come on.
Oh, my God. No kidding. Like, if you're thinking about trading a player like that, you better be getting back another blue chip younger player or a star player that you're going to have for a few years. Like, his name came up if the Jets were going to make a run at Buchnevich heading into the deadline. Like, would you trade Perfetti? Because as much as people would be like, I don't want to trade Perfetti. Well, guess what? If you're going to get a guy like Buchnevich for a couple of years, you're going to have to give up a pretty significant asset, and you've already traded your first-round pick. So what's it going to be? But there will be a time, hopefully next year, hell, with Velarde out, maybe he gets an opportunity back up in the top 6 at some point and can really make things happen. But these young guys, you can't give up on them too early. The Kings were very smart not to sell low on Byfield, and he's turning into a legit superstar. And I do, against a team like Chicago, 2-1 plus 200. He's got the same number as Bedard tonight. So maybe we'll hit both of
throw
those
them
guys
together.
at
Bedard, future Olympians. Bedard and Byfield with goals tonight. The Killer Bees.
Jake's got a funny one. Or Jake, maybe you want to throw that in the exclusives.
Yeah.
But the Connor convention, Kyle Connor and Connor Bedard both to score tonight, plus 6.
That's a nice number too. Plus 675. Come on. Yeah, that's real good.
Some bum will give up 4 goals, take over 3.5. Yeah, I can't. I cannot. I would not dispute that as well. Make a keyword hangover. That's definitely. I'm surprised that one hasn't.
It's got to be in here somewhere. We got a bunch more coming. I'd assume it's one of these days. Never been there
Get
without
some
one.
of the more salacious keywords as we get closer to the. How long does this contest go for?
Our final day of qualifying is April 25th. So yeah, it still goes for over a month and 10 days. And then we'll give away the trip, I think, on the 29th. So, no, it should be good. Hey, all right, let's I think that's pretty much covers just a light night in the NHL. Let's take I want to get to a couple. I got to get your thoughts on Hollywood Brown. We'll go there in a second. But let's check in on the Players' Championship here, Huss. We're Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark has a 4-shot lead. He's 6 under through 17 today. Let me refresh this. His round might be over. Let me just double check on this.
He's on the 18.
Okay, he's on 18 right now. So he's 13 under. Matt Fitzpatrick is 9 under. Matty Schmid was 4 under today. He's 8 under. Scotty Scheffler lurking around. 3 under today. He's at 8 under. JT Poston, who I've been on a couple of times this year, damn it. He's T3 right now at 8 under. Corey Connors is 8 under. Maverick McNeely is 7 under. And then still to tee off. They'll be teeing off right away here. Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, 7 under yesterday. And we'll see if they can keep pace with Wyndham Clark, if you can believe it. Wyndham Clark at it again, Huss.
Yeah, and you know who is screwed? I was so pumped about our parlay because I still think Scotty will for sure be top 5.
Zalatoris has killed us.
Yeah, Zalatoris just does not have it today.
5 over,
so
man.
Good as of late.
I don't get it.
So good as of late. Vic did not have a great opening round. He's at +1, but he hasn't teed off yet. So I have full confidence that Vic will do what he needs to do today to be playing into the weekend. But yeah, Wyndham Clark is he had just a phenomenal. They got to the turn and he birdied. Well, and they started on the back 9. So he got to the first hole, birdie 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And he's playing the par 5 9th, which is reachable in 2. So we'll see if he can get it to 14 right now. Still likes Scotty Scheffler. He's right there in the mix.
Scheffler's going to have something to say about this. Wyndham Clark's got to be ready.
Oh, yeah.
5 ahead of Scheffler heading into the weekend. I don't think you're not clear of the dude, that's for sure.
Well, but if Wyndham Clark just keeps on shooting 66 every day, he'll win. I mean, like there is an element that you kind of need him to come back a little bit. But Matty Fitz with an impressive round today, 69. And as I said, we're only halfway through. There's lots going on, and especially at Sawgrass with all the water there, things can change quickly. Like it is an exciting venue for a tournament. So just watching Wyndham here, I think this is his second shot.
You can knock it on.
On his iron in his hand as well. Give the people streaming, driving around a little tour action. Second shot from the fairway. Wyndham Clark spraying it a little bit to the right, it looks like. And I mean, whatever. That was a safe shot. He's got a chip on. He will not have an eagle putt though.
Still got
it would be nice
crack at birdie here though.
We don't need him to get to 14.
Yeah,
and have back-to-back 65s to begin. And Scheffler, I mean, obviously, considering my strategy this week, instead of making a bunch of bets, we just made a big one on Scotty.
Yeah,
he was in great shape. He birdied 2 and 3, and then just sort of hit the wall a little bit. He had one really loose shot on 5, where he was only, I think, 170 yards to the hole or so, and just came up short. He only hit it like 113 yards, had to chip on, missed the comeback putt. So gave one back there, and then just just pars the rest of the way. But Scheffler lurking on the leaderboard right there. I'll take that. I will take that. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a legit 5-shot lead and a few of these other guys like Rory or some of them Rory or Xander who were 7 under, get to 10 or whatever. You might be able to find a better number for Scheffler now than even was at the start of the tournament, despite the fact that he's just 5 shots back. So that'll be something to see. Check the live odds for the players as soon as the final round is up before they get going tomorrow.
Nielson and Hustler with you here. We're going to call a qualifier in about 10 minutes for that trip to Vegas. NFL movement yesterday. Tell me about Hollywood Brown taking the top off of defenses for Kelsey and Rashee Rice. Seems like a nice fit there, Huss. You must be pretty fired up.
I am fired up. Second fastest guy behind Tyreek Hill, and we knew what Tyreek Hill did with the Jets. I've got to give credit to this one dude on Twitter, Pretty Ricky 213.
What a handle!
I don't know who this guy is, but he has incredible sources. 3 days ago, I'll get down to his tweets because they're all still there. 3 days ago, he was telling anybody that would listen that Hollywood Brown was signing with the Chiefs. He said, this is done. It is happening. You're just going to need to hold on a couple days. They think they might be waiting to trade. They might be needing to do the L'Jarius Sneed deal first. But they're cap compliant. So they made the deal done. And he was all over this. And he's had a few that have been like, I don't know who this guy's sources are.
But they're
put
good.
it this way. If you're looking for good NFL insider stuff, Pretty Ricky, and it's RICKEY 213, has been all over it. And last night, major victory lap for Ricky after Hollywood Brown signed. And you know what was funny? So I was on my computer and saw that tweet from Schefter making it official like 10 seconds after he put it on. So I DM Ricky going, thank you for your service. Great job. Great job on that. But then I went over and I saw a bunch of other just Chiefs accounts that I follow. And they go, Hollywood Brown's live on Twitch right now. So I went over to the Hollywood Brown Twitch channel. I guess he does lots of gaming, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. But man, he was just playing the swag surfing and doing the swag surf after signing the deal. Chiefs fans were going nuts in the chat. It was a great moment. Awesome ad. Awesome ad. Yeah. And I think he'll be a deadly player fantasy-wise next year too.
Another move yesterday is an interesting discussion for both teams, and that's Keenan Allen being traded to the Chicago Bears. Now the Bears, they brought in DeAndre Swift. They have DJ Moore. Now they've added a veteran in Keenan Allen who, you know, for the last few years, when he's healthy with Justin Herbert, he certainly could still produce. But they still have yet to figure out what's going to happen with Justin Fields. Obviously, they've got the first overall pick as well. We'll get to the Chargers in a second as Harbaugh's era, I don't know, starting in an interesting fashion, Huss. But what do you make of the Bears adding another veteran receiver here? DJ Moore, Keenan Allen's a really nice 1-2 punch for whoever's at quarterback.
Listen, they are getting ready to make the most of Caleb Williams' rookie contract. They had a ton of cap room that a lot of other teams simply didn't have. And they're weaponizing it right now. I mean, that is such a great pickup for Chicago for a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And Keenan Allen, I mean, Feinberg's a good buddy of mine. He's a Chargers lifer. He had to do the emergency press conference
I saw that last night.
Thanking Keenan for his he had some weird bit about the turtles in Florida. I wasn't really following that at the start, but the rest about the Chargers and Keenan Allen was made a lot of sense. And basically they came in, they were so screwed for the cap. And Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. All of those guys, something needed to change. They cut Williams. Kind of surprisingly, I think both Mack and Bosa restructured their contracts.
Yep.
Taking less, kind of realizing what the market would have been for them out there staying. But Keenan told them to get bent.
Yeah.
He'd done enough for that organization the whole time. He didn't want to take a pay cut. So they said, all right, well, I guess we got to move on. They have no receivers.
None.
Right now. I mean,
none.
Their receiving room is basically empty.
I do think there's some potential. What's a rookie? He was a rookie last year. Quentin Johnson, big body. Disappointed at times when he did get a look though. So, but nobody legitimate in that receiving group right now.
No, I mean, look, there's no guy that you would think, oh, this guy can be a legit number 1 receiver. I mean, Johnson, they'll hope that he turns into one. But I think it's going to be. And the other thing is, the Chargers are going to probably take a center with their first pick. Although now this might change things. They may have to go and just grab a receiver. But Gus Edwards is going to get like 500 carries this year. It's going to be like Harbaugh's going to try and take this Michigan bully ball to the Chargers. And I don't know what that means for Justin Herbert, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
He's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But if you have a run first team and you don't have the receiving weapons, I might curb my enthusiasm for Herbert coming up next year. But as far as the Bears go, I honestly think the Bears can be a playoff team this year. Like if Caleb Williams is who they
if
think
he's as advertised, yeah,
he'll be there. But the most interesting thing about it is nobody wants Justin Fields.
I know. Like, and Justin Fields last year started horribly, but finished relatively strong. Like there was an uptick in his game in the second half of last season. So we were talking about this morning. We had one guy text in, and he's just like, Dusty, the Bears should just keep Fields. They've actually surrounded him with players now, and then trade the first overall pick for every other piece that you would need to build a championship team. And I was just like, you would get a haul for the first overall pick. Like if you have any faith in Justin Fields, and now you've added a running back and you've added Keenan Allen, and he still has a good connection with DJ Moore, you go and trade the first overall pick for, I mean, I don't even know how many pieces it would be, but if you can nail those picks in the draft and add 3 or 4 or 5 more players on both sides of the ball, I mean, that sets up nicely too. So, I mean, either way, it's going to be tough to kind of screw it up because I don't know where Fields goes. Like, I don't even know what happens with this guy.
Well, I still think, and again, we'll see what happens with that third pick. Because there is talk that Minnesota might be trading up to get the third pick. So if they take a quarterback there, you are looking at the Patriots move back.
Yeah.
And the Patriots getting multiple picks. I think Minnesota's got 2 in the first round now, like 8 and 21 or something.
And they made
like that.
They made a trade today too, with late first and some seconds involved earlier today. The Vikings did, so could be setting themselves up.
Like setting themselves up to make that move. Like if you had a quarterback and could get Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, because that guy, I think he's about as rock solid a receiving prospect as we've seen in a long time. But it's hard to imagine the 3 quarterbacks not going 1, 2, 3, and then him being available for Arizona at number 4. But I think there's tons of receiving talent. Like I have seen some mocks like since the moves yesterday that have receivers then going 5 and 6 as well. But just as far as Chicago goes, listen, if they thought Fields was the guy, we would have already been talking with it. They don't think Fields is the guy. They think that Caleb Williams, and here's the other thing you can't overlook, especially when you're adding a guy making over $20 million like Keenan Allen is, starting a new clock on a rookie deal with 5 years. Like you have that 5th-year option on the quarterback. That is the window. There has been in the last 14 Super Bowls, 12 of the last 14 Super Bowls has had one of the 2 quarterbacks on their rookie deal.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's so huge. I mean, it was Purdy last year. The first 3 times Mahomes was there, he was on the rookie deal. Mahomes is back at it. The last time I believe that there wasn't a quarterback on the rookie deal was the infamous 28-3 game when it was Brady and Matt Ryan playing against each other. But there is something to be said about quarterback on the rookie deal, what that allows you to do for the rest of the roster. And the Chiefs are sort of bucking the trend because often when you get your quarterback off the rookie deal, it's tough to get back there. But that's what the Chiefs have done right now. So it's been a wild week in the National Football.
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
There's so much. I mean, we could do 2 hours on it, no problem.
Oh, yeah, it's been awesome. All right, what's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
Well, we're going to get ready for this game tonight, and first and foremost, be talking about the news with Gabriel Velarde and what that means for the Jets moving forward. That'll certainly be the top story. Check in with our friends at Sport Manitoba, and then Hacksaw will be jumping on towards the end of the program before Marbles for the full NFL notebook, and that might take a while with all of the moves that have been made. But I'll certainly be asking him what he's hearing about Justin Fields and where he might land.
Excellent, man. Well, we'll catch up with you on Monday. Get some rest, dude. Get some rest.
Yeah, right back at you. Let's come back strong. And again, shout out to the Nasty Chat for those winners this week. Great week so far. And I'll tell you what, we get Byfield goal tonight, a Bedard goal, maybe hit that wild WST parlay I put up. It will be perfect. And go Scotty Scheffler. You don't see me rooting for the chalk very often. Oh, Clark did get to 14 under.
He did, eh?
Tell you what, that Scotty Scheffler number might be looking pretty juicy on the live line when
might
that
be a
comes
good time
up
to get it.
on.
It's going to be 6 back, that's for sure.
You're going to win the WST parlay and then double down on Scotty tomorrow.
Of course you are. Of course you are. There you go. That is Hust. Winnipeg Jets playing tonight. Check out Winnipeg Sports Talk if you haven't already. All right, Zach, to come, should we fire up a call? Zach's going to call our qualifier here for the Lock Shop. We'll have another qualifying opportunity today over on the Oil Stream, which is coming up right away with myself and Tom Gazzola. I'm going to take a look at some exclusives as Zach gets our qualifier on the line tonight. The exclusives always, I know a lot of people who just kind of pop in, see what the exclusives are every single day over at CoolBet. So if you're not yet signed up for an account, go to coolbet.com and sign up for an account. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit, up to 200 smackaroos. All right, here's what we got tonight in the NHL exclusives. Points from the point. Morrissey and Drew Doughty both to just have a point tonight, plus 190. Chalk it up. Jets and Kings both on the puck line at plus 285. Shots. That's their daily shots play. Ehlers, Byfield, Bedard, all to record 3+ shots. I like that one. And then the Connor connection tonight. Kyle Connor, Connor Bedard, both to score plus 675. And Jake just texted me, says, do you guys want that Byfield, Bedard, both to score as a Lock Shop exclusive? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So that'll pop up here as well. You'll be able to find that in the Lock Shop exclusives page. Once again, if you did text in the keyword earlier on here today for the qualifier, make sure you stay by your phone. The last thing we want is to call you and get a voicemail. Unless you, of course, don't want to have really good odds at winning a trip to Vegas. I guess there's always that. By the way, Winnipeg Sports Talk parlay, if you're looking for a big number tonight, and if you think the Jets can kind of run it up a bit here offensively tonight, Toffoli with a goal, Ehlers, Lowry, and Niederreiter all with points, plus 325. Northside Sandwich says, I used to use Play Alberta, but CoolBet is a much better selection and is much more user-friendly, to all wondering. Thanks for the compliment for our great partners over there, Northside Sandwich. We appreciate it. Tell your buddies about CoolBet and the Lock Shop, and give us a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, we are on the verge of 7,300 subs, so let's fire those over as it's going to be a big busy time here with the EST Flyway to Vegas, and we got something good brewing after. I think you're all going to be pretty excited about as well. So and then of course playoffs coming up as well. Alex from the Peg is asking, can I qualify to win if I'm from Winnipeg? Alex, here's what I'll tell you: the trip leaves from Edmonton, but if you want to book your own flight from Winnipeg to come into the Edmonton airport and then take off on the trip, we're not going to stop you. So, yes, you can qualify. It's just you got to get to Edmonton to take that flight on your own. All right, Zach, who's qualifying today, buddy?
Big Uke is qualifying today.
Oh, my goodness. Big Uke. Let's go to Big Uke. He's been to Vegas like 3 times in the last 2.5 months. Uke, what's up?
How's it going, Dusty?
Man, that's the last thing you need, another trip to Vegas.
Oh, yeah. No, you can never have too many.
No, you can never have too many. Now, you are very familiar with Vegas. You are a sports bettor. Yeah, like, what is your favorite spot in all of Vegas?
Oh, boy. That's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones. The sports book at Paris is pretty good.
The sports book at Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been to that one.
That's the best one, so that one's insane.
Yeah, that one looks pretty nuts, doesn't it? Yeah, that would be pretty cool to go check out. All right, who would you bring with you on this one, Uke?
Oh, gosh. I have a lot of people who are degenerates, so there'd be a tournament of sorts to figure that one out.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck, man. You're one step closer.
All right, cheers, buddy.
All right, congratulations to Big Uke sliding in and qualifying for the trip to Vegas. You will have another chance to do it coming up on the oil stream, which will be firing up here in less than 5 minutes. If you're listening on iHeart or on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, quick dose of the Whale and the Wolf, and then myself and Tommy Gazzola with the oil stream firing up here right around noon today. That is going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Thank you very much for joining us today. Good luck tonight, and we will talk to you on Monday inside the Lock Shop.